Last week we ended up with a 100% probability of 125 basis point rate cut. Let's take a step back. Remember, the front end of the yield curve, yields are basically captive of the Fed policy, right? Because they're very close to the Fed funds rate, which is overnight. And so when Fed makes policy or expected policy moves, those tend to move things like the 2-year yield and under. Those have come in a little bit, and that basically reflects the growing expectation of more rate cuts. Speaking of that, I'm going to take a look at what we're expecting with rate cuts. I'm going to check it out here live for you, and we will post this chart for you. It's a very interesting chart where I can come up with the probabilities of rate cuts between now and the end of the year. Last week we ended up with a 100% probability of 125 basis point rate cut. And this week, we with a probably 80 or 90% probability of a second one, which on Wall Street, you all know is a pretty good possibility. This week, we have a 100% chance of 2 rate cuts before the end of the year. Now, that is really reflecting all the jitters that I'm talking about, right? As we hear about these jitters, as we hear about potential layoffs from companies and so on and so forth, and we've heard some of that too this week. Basically, people are counting on the Fed to say, hey, no, we're going to have to come in and cut rates. And of course, Jerome Powell backed that up in his speeches this week as well, sounding much more dovish than he typically would.